Ghostwriter. Do you believe in ghosts that haunt you at night until it's in a dream and it frighten you? No, I'm kidding. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about Ghostwriter. It's kind of something of the music you listen to every day. You say cheerfully or sadly from the lyrics, and you don't know if it's not the musician who write the songs, especially the lyrics. Yes, we're talking about ghostwriter. If you know, when it comes to music, ghostwriter are often hired to write a song, write the lyrics, and sometimes even melodies or hook for a song, album, or another piece of music. Is this legal or not? So let's discuss for more. Yeah, ghostwriter in general is paperwork, literally works. You know, celebrities, executive, political, and even the musician, they do and hire ghostwriter to draft or edit autobiographies, memoir, magazine article, music, or other written materials. Usually, there is confidentiality clause in the contract between the ghostwriter and the credited author that obligate the former to remain anonymous. You know, sometimes the ghostwriter is acknowledged by the author or publisher for their writing services. You cosmetically call a researcher or research assistant, but often the ghostwriter is not credited. So it's pretty straightforward to say that the ghostwriter is the music industry's dirty little secret. We'll return to history how this ghostwriter works in music. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in 1791 became the first composer to ghostwrite the music. A stranger approached Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in July 1791. He wanted Mozart to write a requiem for a patron and finish it as quickly as possible. Mozart never finished it. On December 5, he died. Some people think he was poisoned. The patron was named Count Franz von Walsing. The Count wanted to pass off Mozart's work as his own, in memory of his recently deceased wife. In the other word, he hired one of the greatest composers in history as a ghostwriter of music. Walsing received the requiem with a posthumous completion and performed it as his own work on December 14, 1793. So in the story, we can say this much for Walsing. When it came to hiring his wife, he went to the best. He previously commissioned works the other composer and put his own name on them. You know, just hearing the requiem would undoubtedly have put an end to any thought that is his work, and musicologists would probably have quickly zeroed in on Mozart. And then, what we can say about Mozart's role in this? Mozart accepting a commission as a ghostwriter? Well, we can say he needed the money. He wasn't in great shape financially like me. We can also say that he gave it nothing but his best, even though he didn't expect his name to be on it. The work is masterpiece, even it is on a finished form. You know, musical experts say that Sussmayer and Ebler, or the Mozart student who helped complete the posthumous requiem in D minor, did some of best work of their life completing it. So well, this discussion is on track with our last episode about posthumous in music. You can watch over here. So back in the topic, in other genres, the film industry, a music ghostwriter is a person who composes music for another composer but is not credited on the cue sheet or in the final product in any way. In the early years of film, David Raxey worked as music ghostwriter and orchestrator for Charlie Chaplin. Even though Chaplin was credited as a score writer, he was considered to be a hammer. You know that? Pejorative film industry slang for a person who purport to be a film score composer, but who in fact only give a general idea of the melodies to a ghostwriter.
Noses, and we would improvise on that. Charlie always had ideas. He would come in having given them some thought and would play something with one finger. And sometimes, I mean, when I think back to the fact that I dared to contradict and oppose him at all, I think it sounds like a most terrible example of chutzpah, you know, guts.
Musical ghostwriting also occur in popular music and happen in damn rap music. When a record company wants to market an inexperienced young singer as a singer-songwriter, or help veteran band leader coping with the writer's block for the lack of motivation to finish the next album, an experienced songwriter may be secretly broke in a help. So how is ghostwriter in rap music? In rap history, Chuck D of Public Enemy has offered a more positive view of ghostwriting in hip-hop. In hip-hop music, the increasing use of ghostwriter by high-profile hip-hop stars has led to controversy, critics view the increasing use of hip-hop ghostwriter as a profession of hip-hop by commerce. This is because of the limited definition of rapping as about you expressing yourself through your own work, not someone else's. Jack D of Public Enemy think this point of view is mistaken because not everyone is equipped to be a lyricist and not everyone is equipped to be a vocalist. He pointed out that creating a rap song may require multiple talents. Currently in hip-hop, the credit given to a ghostwriter's favorite silent pen mic sound conventionally clauses appear obliquely in a liner note or discards their participation freely. In some cases, liner note credit individual for vocal arrangement, which may be equipism for ghostwriting. And then, how much does a ghostwriter cost? The amount that you can earn depends on your ability to recognize your worth and draft a good contract. Ghostwriting pay varies depending on your writing ability, research experiences, reputation, and speed. If you know, a talented ghostwriter can earn $4 to $40 per page or somewhere between $50 to $150 per hour. Earning income potential is unlimited. However, ghostwriters have been known to make $500,000 writing memoir for the rich and famous. Next thing, are there any negative to working with a ghostwriter? Yeah, there's a few potential negative to working with a ghostwriter. The main one being that it can be expensive. Hiring professional ghostwriter is not cheap and you will have to factor that into your budget. In addition, you may not have as much creative control over your song if someone else is writing it for you. Lastly, some people may see working with a ghostwriter as not being real or you being original. More so in rap hip-hop music, as a rap lyric are supposed to be the story of the rapper inspired by his or her real-life experiences. But again, this is not always the cases. And the last thing, is ghostwriting legal? Yes, music ghostwriting is legal. However, the legality of music ghostwriting can get a bit murky depending on the specific of the contract and arrangement between the writer and artist. Generally speaking, when someone hires a ghostwriter to write lyrics or song for them, the writers will sign over all their right to the work to the artist. This means that even the song become massive hits, the writer will not be able to earn any royalties from it. Additionally, if the artist decide to use a different writer for future song, they are not obligated to credit or compensate the first writer at all. A final thought, working with a ghostwriter can be a great way to ease the songwriter process while still maintaining creative control over your music. It's 21st century, it is important to do your research and find the best ghostwriter for your needs, as well as be clear about the direction you want your song to go.